and welcome back to another Kuma Style review. We're doing Brave Week here, and what we have here is Masterpiece, Dragon Kaiser. He is the one that goes ahead and combines with King Kaiser to form Great Kaiser. But anyway, or King X Kaiser actually. So just taking a look out here, this is a big box, so I'm doing it here on the table. Looking at the box here, has a figure. This is really nice box art actually. I'm really impressed by Takara on this one. So it has the transformation into the plane, it has him in bot mode in a cool pose with the arrow and everything like that, as well as a preview of the transformation. Unlike the King X Kaiser box, this one doesn't have the ability to flip up and show the figure, but taking a look at the other sides here, both sides are actually the same, just the Dragon Kaiser writing, Masterpiece from on the side, as you can see. But the back of the box is pretty cool. So just various poses, preview for the combination and stuff like that. And yeah, just overall good stuff. This is a very nice box and not one that I personally throw away. So okay, now that we've taken a look at the box, let's go ahead and go to the shooting table and take a look at the figure itself. Alright, and before we take a look at the accessories here, I just want to let you guys know this is currently one of my favorite figures on my shelves, period. So if it comes off like I have a very strong bias towards Masterpiece Dragon Kaiser, it's because I do. So, just so you know in advance, this one's highly recommended. And yeah, let's go ahead and get to the accessories here. We'll take a look at each of them one by one. This part, the big sword over here, big sword, and the handle for it, kind of irrelevant to Dragon Kaiser. Reason being is because that's actually for the Great X Kaiser, the combination. So give me one moment. And that, of course, is his combination with King X Kaiser. So let's go ahead and zoom in a bit here. You'll see we have two crests for a shield. Of course, these in the show, or this item in particular in the show, becomes his arrow. But the reason we have two, one is just a standard one, the other one, exact same size, but the ends rotate, and you use this one for when you want to go ahead and transform them, whether it be spaceship mode, Great X Kaiser, etc., etc. These rotating parts will be used in those transformations. So what I am going to do though is go ahead and just clip this one on, because of course during this review video we'll be transforming them. But yeah, they look exactly the same when they're on, but that's the only difference. Okay, so zooming out here, get into the rest of these accessories here. We've got a couple of gray hands. These are actually for the Great X Kaiser, so I'm going to put those away for the time being. Alright, now we have a very funky looking chest shield here, or chest crest. Just like in Brave, or Brave Fighter X Kaiser, this, his chest crest, actually becomes his bow. And it just expands out like so. Now, if you do want like a mid-morph chest crest, this does come with a clip or a peg in the back, so it can peg on just like this. And it will essentially look like so. So, give you a better view here. Like so. And there you go. Okay. Now, outside of that, we do have a variety of hands here. I'll save my favorite one for last, but they're pretty standard. Two of them are a little bit more open, one for each side on that. Get some light on these guys. One of them completely just open, but fingers closed. Alright. And my favorite one, which I'll show you in a little bit when I show the arrow, is this one. It actually goes on his right hand, and he can hold the arrow. It is just plain awesome. So, okay, looking at the rest of the accessories that come with him, I don't know if you'd call them accessories since they're his normal hands, but his default fist do have the fingers that move up and down. And he does come with his blades slash blasters. And when I say slash blasters, alright, they've got handles on them here that actually fold up some, like so. Okay, you can go ahead and put this guy up. Jeez, bit hard there. Alright, this can rotate around, and these blasters actually pull out. Let's see if I can even do it half decent. And no, my lack of fingernails definitely comes into play again. I do have a pair of pliers here, so let's see if I can get a light grab on here. And there we go. 1, 2. Then I'll go to the other side. Take this one out. Okay. And 3 and 4. Alright. Okay. And if you do it with a light grip, the plastic or the paint is well enough so that it does not chip or anything like that. But okay, there's one last accessory here, and it's the arrow. Of course, he has a bow, and an arrow goes with it. Now, the cool part is, this hand actually coincides with the arrow. So let's go ahead and put it all together, because his arrow pose is just, yeah, it's one of the reasons this is one of my favorite characters, period. So, alright, we'll go ahead and get the bow extended like so. Move Kaiser out of the way. Okay. Alright. It grips into his hand pretty simply there. Alright. So now we have to replace his right hand with the bow hand. And it's just ball joints. Pops in, pops out. Easy enough. Okay. Make sure that that's extended. Alright. So what we can do now is take this arm, put it out. And this, I want to zoom in here so you guys can actually see how the bow goes in, but there we go. And it literally holds. It's so cool. So, alright. So you guys can see. And he does have good posability and stuff like that, so I know this isn't the figure overview part, but I actually want to get him into a pose there. Alright. And yeah, there we go. Those are going to be the accessories for Dragon Kaiser. Next, we'll go ahead and take a look at his transformations. Give you one last view of that because that is just, I'm sorry, that's just bee's knees to me. I really do love it. Alright, so on to the transformations. Alright, and the first transformation we're actually going to look at is actually getting Kaiser to fit inside of him here. So let's go ahead and get that started. We start off by taking the shoulders and making sure those are brought down. Okay. Right, now this chest piece here, this whole thing actually flips forward. Out. I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of hard to keep it up there, but there you go. We're gonna have to peg that chest piece back in, but that's fine. I mean, kind of comes with the territory on this particular figure. But all right, okay. So we've got that up. Now we just make some room on the legs here. We're gonna go ahead and we can take that and flip that down. All right. These we just sort of take them and flip them up to make some room, and just like King X Kaiser, alright, that his thigh panels flip forward. Okay, so it's pretty simple to actually get Kaiser inside of them as opposed to the King X Kaiser combination there. So, for him, we just take him, flip his arms out. Okay? And we take this, we flip his feet up. Alright, sorry about the camera glitch there. But once we've got Kaiser like so, we can actually take this. And I'm just putting his legs in first. It's just hard for me to see. There we go. Alright. His legs in. Then get his upper body in. And boom, we're actually square. Alright, so from there, you can take his thighs, flip those up. Flip his waist area up, and bring his upper body back down. From there, we just flip his shoulders back in, and boom. Now, what's nice about this particular combination with Kaiser as opposed to the King Kaiser combination, his knee joints and his swivel, or his thighs, are actually below the area where Kaiser fits in. So there's actually absolutely no loss in articulation from Kaiser being inside of him, which is just plain fantastic. Another reason why I love this figure so much. But yeah, there you go. Now we'll look at his transformation into jet mode. Alright, so let's get into his ultra simple transformation into his jet mode. Alright, so here's where we're going to start. We're going to start by turning him sideways here. Get some actual light on him. Okay. And we just open up his cockpit part a bit to get some room. And then we close it back. Let me zoom out here so you can actually see what I just did. Alright. And then that closes up just fine. Alright. So, there we go. We've got a GoBot. So, alright. Now with his arms here, oops, I'm unclipping shoulder armor and things like that. We're just taking these, turning them around on that swivel that I showed you in the accessory part, and then we're just sliding them up. And notice when you slide these up, the fist, they slide up too. So, okay. Now, right, everything's good there. Sorry, I'm just giving it a once over here, making sure that we're on the right path. Alright, so then we just take the feet, they peg together, as you can see. Okay, simple enough. Now the crotch plates here, gotta move these down. Those do peg in pretty tight. So, take these, kind of fold them down. And see how I just fit those inside? That's where those are supposed to go. So alright. We can also, that's why we're using this chest shield, we take this and we flip it down. Okay? Alright. Make sure those are down. Okay. So then next, we just take these, flip them up, those shin shields, and now on each side there are wings that are folded up. You just take those, flip them all the way out like so. Okay. And then with his chest area here, you actually just take that and fold it down. So there we have it. Now let's go ahead and oops. There we go, make sure that that's all pegged in. Definitely don't need any problems there. Okay, so we got some wheels there. 1 second, these are a bit of a PITA to get out on this end. Give me 1 second here. I'll flip these doors out first. Then we can go ahead and supposed to be able to flip the wheels out. Jiminy. Okay. Sorry, I just don't. Let me see if there we go. Okay. See those wheels? Okay, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Get that door out. Take these wheels. And boom. Okay. Now we can lay the guy down. Jiminy. These are not wanting to lay down. There we go. You close the door to lock them in place. I apologize for forgetting that step for a moment. Okay. But there we go. And we have his jet mode. Alright, now this one also has the ability to act as a trailer for Kaiser. So we begin that. It's also very simple. We just take the wheels, flip them back in. Okay? Now, you'll see this part up front. There's actually a peg here that flips down. So, go ahead and make sure that I'm doing this correctly because, yeah, don't at all want to take this past. Alright, and had to take that off camera just to make sure that I was doing this correctly. Let me make sure I've got some light on there. There are actually two pieces that flip up. This middle part needs to stay in like so. And then you can take the rest of it and flip it down so you have the peg. Okay? From there, you just fold back up the wings like you're doing them in Bob mode. I'm doing the same thing to the other side. Alright. We've got Kaiser already in car mode. And definitely check out my review of Kaiser to see how to do that. But yeah, there we go. There we have him now acting as a trailer for Kaiser. Alright, so now we'll start going ahead and giving opinions of both the alt modes and the robot mode, and then I'll get into my final thoughts. And okay, here are my opinions of the alt mode. I'm going to go ahead and start with the trailer mode for Kaiser, since we just transformed it into this. I'm going to work a little bit backwards here. But yeah, I mean, it looks good. I mean, it's one of those things where one of the beauties about Dragon Kaiser is it's very, what you see is what you get, and then a little bit more. But in terms of his robot mode and the alt modes, the aesthetic of them, they're very plain, straightforward, and they keep a lot of integrity both to the show and his original toy, which I do enjoy. And this does not fall short of that. And I mean, all four wheels roll. It looks okay. It's not one that I'd ever display it in, but it kind of is what it is. Now taking it and turning them back into plane mode real quick. That was kind of like the transformation section on Fast Forward, but yeah. From what you can see, and I'll actually take that camera and bring it up some. It's very nice, very accurate, and like I said, very also true to the original toy, which I really, really do enjoy. Now give me 1 second, and I'll show you something else from the show. Okay, just had to get them real quick. But here we have King Kaiser. Going ahead and using them as a, hoverboard of sorts, which is really cool as well. So overall, just good stuff. I mean, I do enjoy his plane mode very, very much. For the amount of accuracy, the good scale that it has to King Kaiser for the riding and things like that. And yeah, overall, it's good stuff. I really do like this alt mode quite a bit. Alright, and next we'll go ahead and we will get into the final thoughts of this toy. Alright, now my opinions on the robot mode of this figure in terms of just aesthetic, posability, things like that. Well, not really my opinions, but an overview of them. As you can see, this thing is just astounding. In terms of its integrity both to the show and the original toy, I mean, it is just very on. They didn't go out of their way to try to give it a more sleek design or anything like that. I mean, it looks awesome, it looks imposing, but it still keeps that more slavish, bricky, I guess you could say G1 for the Brave Toys, that integrity, but at the same time, giving it a very cartoon accurate look as well, and the fact that it's bricky but not blocky. It's solid looking, but not just bing bam, no articulation looking, that kind of thing. It looks very cartoon accurate. So let's go ahead and just take a look at the figure itself. Just giving you guys the opportunity to look at things like the head sculpt. We'll take a look at this figure head to toe. Zoom out a bit here. Oops. And I did forget to go ahead and put his shin guards down. Okay. Alright, there you have that. And just to get all sides of this thing. It's just a beefy, awesome, like, hunk of articulated goodness. Man. Like, I really am not lying when I say this is one of my favorite figures on my shelf right now. Whether it's Transformer, whether it's non-Transformer, this is just one of my favorite figures, period. But anyways, going ahead and looking at the articulation. Not on a ball joint, but his head does have full articulation, can look up and down, side to side and whatnot. So that's great. Now the shoulders, they do have up and down movement, in and out movement, a little bit further under the shoulder pad. Definitely has bicep swivel, full elbow articulation. In fact, it's a double jointed elbow. And wrist around ball joints, and the default hands, they do have finger articulation, but it's nothing too crazy. I'll go ahead and show you. There we go. It's just the 4 fingers that are on a pivot of its own. Okay? So, zooming out a bit here. There isn't waist articulation because of not only the implementation of putting Kaiser in there, but also the fact that his whole upper half of his body does come apart and whatnot to form the Great Kaiser, which we'll be going over in our next video. And trust me, it's definitely worth a review of its own. Okay, so looking at the legs here. Alright. There's not a lot of play in terms of the in and out. They definitely do go up and down though. So yeah, there's articulation there. There's thigh swivel, which is great. And he does have bend at the knees. His calves are just so huge though that it doesn't go too crazy far. Alright. And the feet do have some back and forth play as well as tilt. So when you're doing those split-legged poses and whatnot, yeah, it just looks good. Just a very overall good an articulated figure. I mean, this thing is great. So next we'll go ahead and go over the alt mode. Now, final thoughts on this figure. I think you can kind of, or pretty much guess where this is going because, I mean, I've kind of gushed over it, or really gushed over it throughout this whole video. This is a very, very good looking and articulated figure. I mean, it brings the very good homage to not only the original Brave Fighter TV show, but the original toy itself as well, while living up to its masterpiece name and having a very, very, very good amount of articulation. And little things like the actual ability to hold his bow and arrow like he's about to shoot it and whatnot are just fantastic. The accessories aren't many, but they're definitely very awesome. Even in terms of little things like the ability to switch from the regular chest shield to the one that doesn't have the folding hinges in here and in here for the ends of the crest. Just little stuff like that for people who may not like being able to see that hinge joint there, you know? It's good stuff. I like our accessories that are few but really good, and that's definitely what this one has to bring. Now, the figure overall, I mean, I can see why this figure, when I look at it on eBay and whatnot, sells for around 500 bucks. I don't know, it's one of those things to where if you're really into the show, or even just really like good homages and good toys in general, it's definitely worth it, but that is a high price. But if you can find one, I believe, yeah, I paid $250 for both him and King X Kaiser, both of the masterpieces. If you can find one for a decent price, by all means, this is one that I definitely recommend to anyone who's a fan of Brave or not. It's just plain a good toy. And in fact, it's so good that this one, more so than any other figure I've reviewed in a while, has just plain been a pleasure to review. Because it's really fun just to get the chance to take this out, mess with it, play with it a little bit, you know? But anyways, thank you guys for watching. This has been another Kuma Style review. Next review is actually going to be the combination of him and King Kaiser into the Great X Kaiser. And like I said, it is a separate review, separate transformation, everything like that. It's definitely worth being a review of its own because it's a pretty lengthy transformation process there. And the figure itself, when combined, is beyond epic. So I look forward to reviewing that. I look forward to getting your opinions on both this review and that review and anything I do in between. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully everybody had a great Thanksgiving. See you next time.